MPB is the largest global platform to buy, sell and trade used photo and video kit. MPB is the simple, safe and circular way to trade, upgrade and get paid for kit. Find out more at www.mpb.com.
Hello and welcome to the AV Forums Movies podcast for Monday the 20th of February 2023. Tonight I'm joined by Simon Crust.
I've seen the future of cinema. Stay tuned to find out what.
Wow. That's stopped
Mic
everything.
That's it. Over to Simon for the next hour.
Mark Costello.
I have not seen the future of cinema, but I wish I had.
And Tom Davis.
I am the mechanized organism designed only for podcasting.
Modop. Very good. Okay, we're going small for this podcast. We're talking the latest Marvel creation to roll off the conveyor belt. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania with one M. We're talking the latest Marvel movie on 4K, Wakanda Forever, with 1K.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about Kevin Feige's plan to keep Marvel going for another 80 years.
Do we say Feige? Is that how you say Feige?
Isn't it Feige?
I think it's Feige. Yeah, Mark's having an attack.
Oh, there we go.
Kevin. I just call him Kev.
That's what happens when you mispronounce names, Kaz.
Yeah. Well, he won't care in 80 years.
That's true.
So his plans for 80 years of Marvel movies.
And do we care?
Well, yeah. Well, we can't say that because we're haters and we're not allowed to watch Marvel movies if we say that. So
Also, we are in the pocket of Marvel every time we review one of their movies.
Yes. This is true.
You are either a hater or you are being paid by Disney. There is no in between.
I like being bought.
And you're so cheap.
Did I say that out loud?
I'm pretty sure that one came through clear. Mark is going to be telling us completely independently of any payoffs what the movie is that we should really all be watching, which is 8 for Silver. Spoilers. He's going to be telling us a little bit about Woman King in 4K and trying to tell us to watch Picard, which a lot of people are saying. Tom will be telling us about Ant-Man and singing the praises of Lockwood on Netflix, which I'm just not sure I'm going to watch yet. So you have to really sell that one. Simon, you're still training for Rocky, even though it hasn't landed.
Mm-hmm.
But you've actually gone and watched everything that everyone else has covered. So
yeah, well,
that's probably why you say you've seen the future.
You'll have to wait and see on that one.
Apart from Wakanda, I'm going to mention a couple of movies no one's going to watch, which are great. Alice Darling and Empire of Light. And the second and final season of Carnival Row, coming like 4 years after the first. Not that anyone remembers.
I'm pronouncing that on Carnival Row. Is that all right?
Yes, Mr. Feige. Competitions. Mark, give us some competition. I got no winners. I got a bunch of winners, but I'm not going to read them out today. You'll have to wait till next time for the winners. But tell us about the actual things you can win.
Competitions you can actually win. Dazzler's Shadow Master on Blu-ray, along with a load of my February top 10 discs, including the Gonzo Hippie Sci-Fi, the final program, which is gloriously ace.
My copy of that came today. I can't wait.
You're in for a treat, Tom. You're in for a treat. As well as the Desperately Poor Watcher, which I really hope hasn't arrived for you, Tom. As well as the quite wonderful 1949 chiller, The Queen of Spades, all on glorious 1080p shiny disc. However, if that's not enough P for you, you can also win Disney's Turning Red on UHD Blue. However, if 1080p is too much P, you can downgrade. And for the retro-minded, you can go back to the glorious days of DVD. Remember that, kids? Where you can win the Madame Blanc Mysteries box set, Mystery Road, and the Detectorists. So head over to AV Forums. I've never heard of it nor seen it. But I might, so therefore I might head over to avforums.com/competitions to enter, so I can do just that. All competitions are open to eligible AV Forums members residents in the UK. Over to you, Mr. Harlow.
Nice.
Detectorists is a gloriously funny series. It's brilliant.
It
Very,
is
very.
brills.
Is that the future of cinema?
No, that's TV.
Oh,
That might be the future of cinema, though, Sam.
No, it's not. Well, it might. Well, you'll have to wait and see.
have to wait and see. I mean,
to
I want to jump right there, but we're gonna talk Ant-Man. I mean, it's the big thing. I mean, my kids are itching to go, and I read Tom's review, and I was like, you can watch it on Disney Plus, kids. I'm really sorry. You can watch it on Disney Plus. I'm good. I read that. I know Tom. I'm okay with watching that puppy at home.
Yeah. Do you know what I would say? If your kids want to go, then take them to the movies.
Leave them there.
Why don't I take him to the movies to something good? We're rewatching the Fast and Furious films just to get in time and ready for X. We're rewatching the Mission Impossible films for that. They're not quite ready for John Wick. They're about 10 years too young for that. But I've got to get them trained for Indy. There's plenty of stuff to come out not to take him to a fine movie, which is coming to Disney Plus in like 2 months in IMAX.
Yeah, it will. And I did not see it in IMAX because I'm
cheap,
lazy.
Cheap and lazy. Both of those things are true, but also I might be about to spout some heresy.
Don't say it. You know it's a 10 in IMAX. You know that's all you have to say. It would have been a 10 in IMAX. Double the score.
I just don't think seeing more of Paul Rudd's legs and more sky above his head is going to really change my mind about the film as a whole. Like, I'm sure his knees are absolutely sublime, but I don't think it's going to change my opinion of the movie. I
don't think Tom is the future of cinema.
All right. I've heard rumors that it is comparable to a Star Wars prequel sequel.
I did say that. Yes, visually, it really, really reminded me of watching something like Attack of the Clones, because barring the first 3 minutes, no, maybe it's a bit long, maybe it's more like 10 minutes. Anyway, after the descent into the quantum realm happens, everything is filmed against a digital backdrop. Now, whether that is it's not going to be green screen anymore. They use their big screen now, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
The volume,
yeah.
But it's all that, and all the lighting looks mismatched against the background, which happens so often. It makes it so obvious that they are not really there. That the lighting is just not quite right, and it looks artificial, and it is just that for like 2 hours. And I know that 2 hours these days is quite brisk for a Marvel movie.
Casey.
But it kind of looked a bit sludgy to me, like really murky. Lots of, like, Marvel are a big fan of purple at the moment. So there's lots of purple and gold in there. And it just... a lot of the visual style that is in the background of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and also probably the most recent Thor movies, although they were a bit more colorful, it's like it's toned down and desaturated, and it doesn't pop. It's not like a big colorful comic book movie. It's just artificial looking and a bit dull and a bit dark and dingy, and I just didn't really enjoy the experience of looking at it. Like, I didn't believe anybody was where they were supposed to be, and it was a huge breaker of the all-important suspension of disbelief. I guess if you're gonna watch it, which dozens of people are, I'm sure, then you
watch
could
it in IMAX, yeah.
Yeah. you may as well. It costs you more money for a bit of extra legroom.
How was Jonathan
Majors?
Jonathan Majors as Kang.
John Major,
the new big bad. How was
John Major was really good. No, he's good in everything. He's good in everything.
He looks a beast in Creed 3.
I have no problem with Jonathan Majors at all. And even though Kang, I guess I'll just say a little bit about the film, which is that the idea is that Scott Lang's daughter has become a quantum physicist during the blip.
Nice.
Yeah. I can see that. That's how she greeted him at the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has discovered a way to communicate with the quantum realm, which is like a miniature universe, a subatomic full universe populated with people and buildings and breathable air or something. And so she communicates with the quantum realm with everyone present. So Hank Pym is there, Janet Van Dyne is there, Hope is there, Scott's there, Cassie's there, and they are all sucked into this communication device and trapped in the quantum realm. And the movie is just them trying to find a way back to the real world, or the normal world, the big world, and being thwarted by Kang, the villain who was introduced during the first season of Loki. And at the end of the first season of Loki, Jonathan Majors was great. He had to essentially do an entire episode of just exposition, and he made it really interesting.
He did.
That was good. Like, it was a really badly structured episode, but he sold it. I think the same is true of Quantumania. It's just so generic. It's like screenwriting 101. It really is. That the stakes are introduced. There are obstacles put in the way of the characters, which they get over quite easily, one at a time, until things ramp up, until there's a huge fight at the end and everything is resolved and the status quo is restored. And all of that stuff is just, it's okay. Loads of films are like that. You can't complain about your basic 3-act structure. But at the same time, if I wanted that, there are loads of other superhero movies that have done it better. So if that's what I want, I'd probably not revisit Quantumania. The only thing that tips it over the edge of like, oh no, this bit's good, really is Jonathan Majors and his performance as Kang, who is destined to be the new Marvel Universe big bad. He is his without spoiling, because I think it's already been mentioned in Loki, his various incarnations will continue to pop up throughout this phase of Marvel movies.
Well, it's a tough thing with these phases, isn't it? Because I don't think that it was ever planned this way for Wakanda to finish the last phase and Quantumania to start this. I think they shuffled them around a tiny bit.
I couldn't tell you. There is no clear beginning or end. There is no
not anymore.
division.
I feel like there has been a bit of wayward scrambling.
Long gone are the days when like a phase would end with an Avengers movie.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I don't need everything to be Endgame, and I do appreciate it takes time to build, because that's how they got here in the first place. But I feel like I've given them a lot of passes, and I enjoyed a lot of their semi-standalone stuff, but I can't see them stitching it together.
I think one of the issues that I've had with the last two, so with this and I guess in a moment we'll talk about Wakanda Forever, is that the previous entries in both of those superhero lineages is that previously Black Panther 1 was an extremely standalone movie. Ant-Man 1 and 2 were kind of like take a breath after a big event movie. And with both of those, like 2 in a row, they've tried to say, no, this is a big, important one. Pay attention, guys, because the stuff that happens now is really important and it's going to matter later on. And neither of those worlds can carry that. That's not what Ant-Man is for. It's not what he's been for in the past. He's been, like, even when he showed up in Civil War, he's there just as a bit of a breather to diffuse the tension. And they've completely lost that with Quantumania. That's not to say it hasn't got jokes in. There's lots of it that is quite funny, and one bit of it that is very funny. One bit. But it, as a whole, is taking itself way too seriously, and I'm just not here for it. I'm not bothered. What I was hoping for was something like Ant-Man or Ant-Man and the Wasp, where I could sit and watch it and forget about it and not care that I'm just forgetting about it. Whereas by the end of Quantumania, I had forgotten some of the stuff that was in the first 30 minutes, and that kind of annoyed me because I was like, oh no, is that going to be important later? It probably is. I was only reminded it happened when an actor's name came up in the credits, and I was like, "Oh yeah, they're in it." Oh what? Oh okay, right. Yeah, I'd forgotten that. It was only 90 minutes ago, but I've already forgotten that, and that's my whole issue with Quantumania.
Did you even finish Wakanda?
Yes,
you did.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
It got better.
No.
Okay,
not really.
Just checking.
Not really. No. So
at least they explained the tiny wings thing.
I think I think it might be at the stage now, Kaz, where I'm probably the wrong person to be reviewing anything that is like people enjoy. If you can just give me stuff that people hate,
you should have done the ones that I reviewed then.
Yeah, if you give me stuff that people hate, and I will say it's great. And instead of giving me all the stuff that people like,
so you can do Liam Neeson's latest.
Okay, that sounds good, and I'll say it's awesome.
Yep, just say it's awesome.
Because
Let me get a quote for that. It'll be the only quote that says
future cinema. There you go, future cinema.
I keep being repeatedly set on fire on the forums just for being right about stuff. It's really like.
Well, I saw Empire of Light, which no one in the world wants to see, and I mean, I'd like to go into things fairly fresh. I'd box this in with a bunch of other movies by directors who just want to celebrate cinema and talk about themselves a bit and get an Oscar. And so I thought this was Sam Mendes's version of Chazelle's Babylon, Spielberg's Fabelmans. I thought it was just another one to lump in there. I actually thought it was really good, very intimate, character-driven, touching drama, small, low-key, Empire of Light.
Low-key, he's in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, I know. I keep bringing it back. We'll have to save it for Wakanda. Anyway, so I'd recommend it. I'm very surprised she didn't get a nomination. Olivia Colman's great in it.
She's good in everything.
It's a small movie, and it'll. I mean, if you don't know what it's about, then it'll probably take you by surprise. But it's got a lot of sensitive dealings with 80s topics like racism and mental illness, mental disorder, and it's handled very, very well against the backdrop of cinema, which is struggling in the 80s. So imagine what that's like now. But it's nice. It was nicely done, but no, not like the others. Not like The Excess of Babylon or the Oscaring of Fabelmans. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The other one, which I'd recommend even more, from Mary Nye, Bill Nye's daughter, is Alice, Darling. Alice, Darling. which is Anna Kendrick, Pitch Perfect Anna Kendrick. She's great in it. It's another very small movie. No one's going to watch. Well, probably no one did watch it, which is why it's coming on digital, and I'm recommending it now. It's 89 minutes long. 3 friends get together, trying to figure out what's up with Alice. She's a little bit absent. She's a little bit anxious. She's got nervous tics. She's got OCD behavior, and it's nicely played out what's going on. Every other review I've read explains exactly what's going on, to the point where I went in watching it knowing what was going on, and I was a bit disappointed that I couldn't discover it for myself. But it's nice and it's very relatable. Probably most everybody can recognize something about this in someone they know or something they've been through, and it's very touching and a real career high performance from Kendrick.
Just to answer a quick question, Ed Paul Monger, we haven't spoken about The Last of Us, and no, we won't be starting over because he turned up late. I saw Anna Kendrick do a Hot Wings interview talking about this film, and you talking about it now just reminded me that I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that might be worth a watch. So yes,
she has divulged that some of it was personally informed, I believe. But again, I didn't really go into any details about that. But that only makes it a more authentic portrayal. And it is very low-key. Whether you describe it as a psychological thriller or a thriller at all, it's just a character-driven drama that people in real life can relate to.
So this is not the film where you wear VR glasses and Harry Styles feeds you water from a wet rag.
I don't really think so.
Okay, that's a different movie.
That's another darling.
That's a different darling.
It's nothing to do with Blackadder Goes Forth either. Then
Alice,
not either of those. No.
Yeah,
it's funnily a little bit relatable to the other darling, which is why I linked that in the review. But
okay.
Anyway, it gets a recommendation. But I think Mark's trumped us all. He's not only come up with what was going to be this week's recommended watch, and is the recommended watch for everyone listening, everyone watching. But we've actually all gone out and watched it. That's how good Mark's sell was.
That's the power of my review.
It was so good that when I read the review, I thought it was a 9 out of 10, and I nearly gave it a 9, even though Mark gave it an 8, which I thought was tied into the fact it says 8 for silver. But it is 8 for silver. The Cursed. Is it the same thing? Before we tell a little bit about it, has anyone actually established whether they're the same movie or whether there are actual changes between them?
So someone on the forums mentioned that changes were made before it was released in the US as The Cursed and released over here as 8 for silver. But I can't see anything. I've done some searching. I can't see anything to say that there were any differences whatsoever between them. But I don't know.
It was released as The Cursed, and you did give it a 9. Why didn't you correct me on that?
Because I was just humouring you.
You were humouring me. Oh my god!
Yeah,
no.
9 to 8 for silver.
9.
It was
we'll
The
talk about
Cursed.
that score in a minute.
Yeah. Always, Simon. Whenever we come in with like a 9 and a strong recommendation at the end, you come in and you're like, no.
Oh my god, it's something about to crap all over this movie because I really liked it.
It's No Dog Soldiers, which is a perfect movie.
Which is a perfect 10.
At the end of last year, we were looking for this because it was going to get a 4K release, and it disappeared. It was The Cursed 4K was up on Amazon, and it disappeared. And then a PR company say, "Do you want to watch 8 for silver?" And I'm like, "It sounds terrible." No, and then I look it up, and 8 for silver's The Cursed. I'm like, give it to me now. And Mark watches it, and we all get right on that bandwagon.
Yeah, you do. Well, most of us.
Well, you mentioned it. I don't know, sometime last year on our own chat, and said, "Oh, you got to see this Back to Loop. It's it's got a remake of that. Well, not a remake, but using the same." Basic
premise. I mean, it's got
and I thought, oh great, absolutely, I'm going to get and see that, and here we are.
All right.
So is this not the future of cinema, Simon? So very, very quickly then, for those that haven't read the review, it is a period gothic chiller that takes the same basic story as Brotherhood of the Wolf, of the fable of the infamous beast of Javadon, a huge so-called mythical creature that roamed the forests of France in the 19th century, dispatching people with reckless abandon. However, this film starts in the trenches of the Somme in 1917. A heroic soldier is brought in for some pretty god-awful wartime surgery, and suddenly a silver bullet is mysteriously pulled out of him. We then flash back 35 years to find the origins of said silver bullet, and it's all to do with boo-hissable British landowners stealing rightful claims to huge swathes of the country from the Romany gypsies. The Romany gypsies are dispatched horrifically. A curse is then placed on the landowners, and from there, a series of strange and mysterious happen, shall we say. It's thick in the atmosphere. It feels like a sort of natural evolution of the Universal horrors through to Hammer, through to this. It's obvious it's the mist-strewn forest. It's all that classic iconography, if you like, of those chillers, but with a much more modern and, I don't want to say cynical, but a world-weary edge. But at the heart of it, at the heart of it, it's a quite interesting, more grounded telling of the werewolf mythology, but it's based much more in the actual folklore as opposed to Hollywood's bastardization of it. And there's got some really gruey practical effects. There's one scene which I think both Tom and Kaz were messaging us going, "What's that crawling out of that?"
Yeah, it's pretty much it. Yeah,
kind of thing. But I think overall, it managed to strike up. It ticked so many boxes of rich in atmospherics. It had some really great special effects. The storyline was interesting. The wraparound mystery kept you all the way through. And I just think it was a really unexpected treat, especially in this day of, very packaged, bland, safe Blumhouse type horrors. So yes, a huge recommendation for me, which seemed to have come over well for some of us, but maybe not all of us.
The thing that caught me by it, like, gypsy curses are played out. I will say that, like, gypsy curse, no, this is a stupid plot device. Okay, it is an old plot device, but it's kind of a gross plot device, and I'm not keen on it. Anyway, aside from that, it was super, like, sincere and uncynical and just comfortable with what it was, which is really, really refreshing. And I think that's something that if we get around to talking about Lockwood Co a bit later, I think that's a phrase that will come back again, because it was pure. I don't like it. It was what it was, and what it was done with.
Unpretentious.
Yeah,
Honesty.
It was unpretentious. Thank you, Kaz. You should be a writer.
But Simon didn't like it.
Yeah. No, that's not true. No, I thought it was
okay.
A very, very good film. I just think 9 out of 10 is a bit too high. I mean, it's an 8.5 at the very, very most.
Well, it was Simon, but I rounded up.
Well played.
You've been saving that one, Simon.
I really enjoyed it.
You jerk.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I don't think I was expecting it at all, but
well, you're not a big horror fan, are you, Kaz?
I am not, but when you gave it a 9 and talked Brotherhood of the Wolf, I mean, to set expectations, it's not Brotherhood of the Wolf.
No.
Okay, it's on a limited budget, and it does a lot with that limited budget. I think Boyd Holbrook.
Yeah.
It's great.
The Corinthian is in it, man.
Yeah.
He's really good. And his British accent could be worse. Like, he's really good. He did okay.
He did okay in that. I've got a lot of time. I mean, he's Predator guy. He's the Predator.
Don't honestly, don't tar him with that one.
No, I'm just
Come on.
saying, he's good in this. Yeah,
good.
and anyway, I enjoyed it, and I can definitely see the Brotherhood of the Wolf vibe in it, in terms of the story and the mood. I thought it was well done.
And
Hooray.
Well done is exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Very atmospheric, very moody.
yeah,
Not what you expect.
No,
And that's really what makes it so good.
and there is definitely at least one wow scene. Like,
yeah, boy, oh
wow.
boy,
Wow. Okay. Okay then.
it was good. And the evil landowner in it is the guy from The Thing.
He is.
That's exactly the reaction I was hoping for. He was I had to look it up halfway through because it was bugging me. He's the doctor in the first season of The Terror. And he was really good in that too.
That thing I didn't watch. No,
You should, Mark. I think you would love The Terror.
And to be fair, I started it, and then
You hate good TV, I remember. Yeah,
yes, exactly.
Apart from Picard.
Well, yes.
Yes. Really briefly, because we don't really have enough time to do it justice. There is an entire podcast worth of topic about changing movie titles.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no rationale that we can find anywhere about why The Cursed suddenly became 8 for Silver. I mean, other than
too generic, I guess.
It doesn't make sense either, does it?
People
For
thought it
Silver.
was the Wes Craven cursed werewolf movie.
Well, wasn't the 8 for Silver the original?
the rhyme.
Original.
Yeah. The original curse inside it.
Yeah,
So it was.
It's a better
It was
title
that
than the
bag
Curse.
of 8 silver coins. But I'm guessing they were like, this sounds too much like a Western or something. Let's just call it The Cursed. They probably shot, but let's just call it like Dog Soldiers. But then
there was the nursery rhyme that was in the movie as well. The Magpies thing: 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for...
Eight for
There was that.
So I don't really know why it changed, but I don't know which way round it was first. But The Cursed is super generic.
I prefer 8 for Silver, even though it sounds weird and low budget.
And like a Western.
It was released first as The Cursed, but it may have been 8 for Silver all the way up to release.
Up to that point, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, strange.
But we got a whole bunch of them. We got Welcome to the Jungle and the Rundown, which is for me a curiosity because
But that's not a pre-release change, is it? That's a Europe US difference,
But
isn't it?
This is a Europe US thing.
Is it still The Cursed in the US?
Yeah, it's still The Cursed in the US.
Silver in the UK. Welcome to the Jungle was Dwayne Johnson. Welcome to the Jungle in the UK, but it was the Rundown in the US.
The Americans need a much simpler title to get their heads around.
But
The poor Americans.
See, big man, he run down the hill.
Well, I guess it was based on Midnight Run.
Woohoo,
So the
xenophobia.
Rundown kind of makes more sense. And doing it as Welcome to the Jungle becomes super confusing when you get Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, as well as a Van Damme film called Welcome to the Jungle. But How I Spent My Summer Vacation, Get the Gringo? Where do we land on this? I mean, Tom doesn't land anyway because he refuses to watch it, but it is great.
I haven't seen it.
It is great. I'm just saying,
It's
it's great either version you watch, but
Yes, I'm a fan.
Who's in it?
Gibson. It's Gibson. It's
Now you're all right.
it's like Payback, except
In
not
Mexico.
officially Payback. Yeah, it's Payback in Mexico.
It's like
It's if
Paycheck
they-
with Ben Affleck.
It's as if they didn't get the license for him to be the same character he was in Payback, but he is. But they called it How I Spent My Summer Vacation Here and Get the Gringo in the US. I'm gonna
No, I
go
think
with
it was.
that.
I think it was the other way around, wasn't it?
Okay.
Hang on.
Okay. While you're looking it
Talk
up,
amongst yourselves. I'm
we're
looking
going to try and figure out why Tom Cruise's All You Need Is Kill manga turned into Edge of Tomorrow, which is super generic. And then they went, oh, this is super generic. And we've written Live, Die, Repeat with really big letters on the poster. And everyone calls it Live, Die, Repeat. So we're going to call it.
like a marketing snafu, wasn't it? That was just like a really good marketing campaign that was better than the title of the movie. And they just went, yeah, okay, well, that's what the movie's called now.
That's what we planned all along.
And then we'll just put the real title of the movie in small print underneath it.
Oh my God, they should have called it All You Need Is Kill.
No, that's, I mean...
No, call it All You Need Is Kill. It's about 10 times better than Edge of Tomorrow. Like, roughly, rounding.
It's about the same.
Yes.
The same as Edge of Generic.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was in this country. The Gibson film was How I Spent My Summer Vacation in the UK. You were right, Kaz. I shall.
That's because
never question you
we
again.
Provincial English don't know what a gringo is. That's why.
But we know what a vacation is.
Oh yeah, good point. It should be a holiday. How I spend my summer holiday.
Oh, I don't know which way round it's Zootopia and Zootropolis. Were we Zootropolis?
No, we were Zootopia.
We were of course, because we know about Utopias, but we don't know about Metropolises.
I actually might be wrong on that one. I can't remember.
Surely.
Sorry, Metropoli. Yes, Metropoli. Fast Five, Fast and I mean, all of these Fast things we can't. It's Fast Five, Fast and Furious 5, or Fast and Furious 5 Rio Heist, or just Rio Heist.
I think the Fast and the Furious ones don't count because they're all just nonsense, and they'll just blanket market everything, so they don't care what it's called.
I don't know. I quite liked it.
If they've got the word fast and a number in it, that's enough. Like it doesn't matter what you call it.
Haven't they trademarked the word fast yet? I'm surprised.
Oh, they should have done. Really, they should have done.
Every time someone says fast, we owe them £1.
Live Free or Die Hard, or Die Hard 4.0.
I much prefer Live Free or Die Hard.
Yeah,
that is a great title.
Yep.
Die Hard 4.0 is too generic, man.
Yes.
It's about computers, so we'll just go. People don't know the state motto of, is it Massachusetts? Live Free or Die?
I mean,
no one knows. There we go.
Nobody knows.
No one knows.
Sounds great.
It's the state motto of somewhere in like New Hampshire, Massachusetts, that area anyway. I'm sorry, America. I'm really sorry, Americans. I can't remember, but it's good. It's a good state motto. You should keep it. It's good.
And did we get Avengers Assemble because of Sean Connery and Uma Thurman?
No.
Because of the TV show.
Yeah.
Not because of the film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because of the Avengers TV. Because of the Avengers whatever. Yes. Yeah. Really, is that really a thing that would have confused people going to see like the 6th Marvel movie in the MCU or 7th or something?
Was the Avengers? When I say the Avengers movie, I mean like, is it Ralph Fiennes? Is that who's Steed?
Yes,
in the movie.
Yeah.
Ralph Fiennes, Uma Thurman. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was quite a long time before, wasn't it?
It was quite a long time.
Was it bigger in the UK than the US, maybe?
I bombed everywhere.
Well, it was terrible.
Universally terrible. I'm not really sure. I think just dropping the was fine.
We say it was terrible. I do have a bit of a soft spot for it.
It's pretty terrible, though.
Sean Connery dressed as a teddy bear, didn't he? I seem to remember. Anyway, never mind.
That wasn't what put Sean Connery off acting for life.
Many faces of Nicolas Cage, unbearable weight of massive talent. That wasn't a
production
change. That was a production thing.
Yeah,
they went with that. And my personal favorite is License Revoked. We don't know what that means. We'll have License to Kill instead. Just stick to Kill in there. Let's have just License to Kill. One is about the story of the actual film because he gets his license revoked.
And they do say that in the film.
Yeah, they say your license is revoked. The other is just like a generic thing which Bond has in all of the movies, and actually has it revoked in this one. So I wasn't on board with that. I thought it was hilarious. It was because test audiences didn't know what revoked meant. Take a guess. Simon's Day of the Woman Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right. It was
that's another one.
Day of the Woman because it was the Revenge of the Woman at the time, so the Day of the Woman, and because it didn't do very well, it was changed by marketing again to and the famous arse cover to I Spit on Your Grave, and remarkably it did better.
Whose arse is that, Simon?
Demi Moore.
That's correct.
Is it really?
It is.
Well, supposedly, if you believe the.
Absolutely.
I love it. Tom's come in and he's like, yep, spoke to her the other day.
I did.
Just confirmed in person. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I asked her about Bruce Willis, and it did not go down well.
Mad Max 2 is a funny one, isn't it? Too soon for that.
Sorry.
Mad Max is because apparently no one in America had heard of Mad Max, and they wanted to release Mad Max 2 because they thought it would be super popular, and they didn't want to call it 2 because they were worried people wouldn't watch it because they haven't seen 1, so they called it Road Warrior. The Road Warrior is the logic behind that one.
That's fine. The Road Warrior is a good
fine.
name.
It's now known as
Perfect.
Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, isn't it?
Yeah. So they just stuck the 2 together.
Mm.
So do you reckon Fury Road could have just been called the Doof Warrior then? That would have been awesome.
Nice. Yeah. He's
I'm here
the
for
real
that.
hero of that movie.
That's exactly right.
And there are a bunch
Oh,
of others. What you
Talk about Mad Max has made me feel sad
Why?
because George
Oh,
Miller
yeah.
sadly passed away.
No, it was a different George Miller. Did you get caught up with that?
I got utterly caught
do
up.
you know what?
Oh, you know why
Totally.
I got caught up
100%.
with that?
100%.
Because in the middle of the night, I get this message on a group chat from someone in the movies community right here.
Who would have
saying,
done that?
saying George Miller's died. This is so tragic. Like George Miller, Mad Max George Miller. And then by the morning, this message has disappeared.
It was a
And I'm
dream,
like-
Kaz.
I'm
It was
like-
a dream.
I'm like, how did this happen? Yeah.
Did you eat cheese before you went to bed, Kaz?
No. You
the
just
issue
deleted
is-
your message in the middle of the night.
No.
You realised it wasn't the same George.
Well, the issue is like both of them are Australian.
when the newsfeed goes, Australian film director George Miller dies.
Right.
What?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got
They
a little
should.
bit.
They need to get on the reporting of that because
Yeah.
I was. I mean, it's not sad. It's
Oh yes.
he died.
Sorry, the family of George T. Miller. Very fair.
Yeah. You know, he did the Never-Ending Story too.
I feel like we're never going to get to Lockwood.
Let's
Oh,
do.
We're running out of
Yeah.
time.
I'm
Let's
just
do
saying.
TV.
Oh, just skip
Oh, no,
straight
no, no,
to
no, no,
TV.
no.
I'm going to say about 4K this.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get
4K.
into Marvel again. I'm going to
No.
say I watched Wakanda for the first time on Disney Plus before watching the disc. I love 4K and I still collect all the Marvel movies on disc, but really Disney Plus.
Loser.
I'm IMAX enhancement, Dolby Vision, good to go. And now you get it 2 weeks before it's released on disc. Zavi, you cannot have my money. It's just, it doesn't make any sense why they're doing it this way, but it's gonna be this. It's the same thing. They've been, ruining the incentive to buy any physical media for a while now.
Mhm.
And now I'm not even that bothered about going to see them in the cinema. It's just Disney Plus that is going to get the same amount they would have got anyway per month from me.
Plus, if you watch it on Disney Plus, you can see it in IMAX, no extra charge, and you get all those lovely knees and sky.
Yes, you get the
Knees
knees in the
and
sky
sky.
and Dolby
The
Vision.
knees-
So
Love
there's
the
that.
knees and sky. Essential to see the knees
All
and sky.
about the knees and sky.
Is
you know what?
Woman King
My
any
jam,
better
man.
in 4K?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to. I
Is
know
it
we're
about
running out of
Marvel?
time.
'Cause
Yeah,
I
it's-
feel like
I'm
you're never,
afraid so.
you're never reviewing Marvel again.
I'm really sorry.
Well, just punch him. He's right behind you. Just
right,
punch him.
Give him all the DC crap. Go on.
It's no. Right. Okay. Coming back to the IMAX thing. We watched the IMAX enhanced Wakanda Forever on Disney Plus, and there is third act action scene. So there's like a big fight, lots of people fighting, and then there's like a one-on-one with Namor,
yeah.
who everyone calls Namor for no reason. His name's Namor. He says it like more than once. Well, stop calling him Namor. It's like dead naming this guy. Like what the like. This is the Western name for him.
Get his little wings really angry.
You, Wakanda, African civilization, should know better than anyone else that you need to be pronouncing these. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about.
Tom,
The
there was,
IMAX ratio.
there was a really little hill and you were about to die on it. That's what you were going to do.
But like the one-on-one combat,
The quantum verse.
for one-on-one combat, you've got like the scope ratio. And
it keeps flipping. Yeah. It was hilarious. It's kept flipping.
Like, why is the one-on-one fight less epic than the?
No, it didn't make any sense. It was like,
who decided that?
It was a really stupid idea. And the way they flipped it, because it was quite fast edited between the two, it would be like
it was so
throw
obvious.
a punch, switch to another, jump across the boat. It was special.
Anyway, that's all we've got time for this evening.
I was gonna say, if you hate Marvel too, join our club.
You know what I love? I'm gonna keep watching Marvel forever, but even my kids are like, how did we get from the journey of Iron Man to the 15 seconds of Ironheart journey? It's
lucky you only got 15 seconds of it.
My kids, when they notice the characters, the new characters aren't as interesting.
Anyway, Kaz, I'm glad you asked about the Woman King on 4K.
Yeah, is it good? Great. Okay, so what's coming up? Go on, tell us.
No. I mean, interestingly enough, the Woman King was the most egregious piece of historical rewriting since Mel Gibson daubed blue crap on his face. It was a historical cinematic epic, and what that means is that in history, a long, long time ago, kids, there were some interesting characters. And then the screenwriters in Hollywood decided to just make a completely new, random, generic story that had these historical characters in them.
You're going to sell me on this. You're not really selling me at all.
I mean, the thing is, though, you've got to separate the history from the film.
Which I can do, because I like The Patriot.
Well, there we go. This is your film. No, it's an interesting set of characters, with some fantastic performances. Viola Davis is hogging all the columns about it, and she's incredibly fierce in it. But there are other exceptional performances in the likes of Lashana Lynch and Sheila Atim. Really, they're my favorite performances in it, because they give a bit of heart, they give a bit of humor, they give a bit of humanity to these fascinating historical characters. It looks brilliant. The setting is beautiful. The locations are stunning. The costumes are great. The characters, the actresses, the actors, they're all good. It's just bolted around an incredibly generic historical epic story. You can measure the beats by beats by beats. Who's going to be the plucky sacrifice? You know, let's have a training montage. It's honestly, it's almost like this century's Rocky IV. With slightly less montages, though.
You're not selling me. I'm going to watch it on streaming. Right. What else is coming up on 4K I can watch on streaming?
Right. Shall I quickly run through these? Then?
I mean, you liked it though.
I did. Like I said, it was perfectly entertaining.
Okay. How about it? Put it in my terms. Better or worse than The Patriots?
Better than The Patriots.
Better than The Patriots.
Well,
it is.
Now I don't believe you, so I'm not going to. It's not better than like a slow-mo scene between Mel Gibson, Jason Isaacs, involving like mallets and pistols and cannon going off in the background and axes being thrown. And no, I'm good. Emmerich, give me that. So
moving on.
There's no hope for you.
There isn't. I'm
right.
Go watch it right now.
Speaking of hope, there is hope for all you 4K fans out there with some upcoming discs. I'm going to quickly rattle through these. Criterion have announced their May slate in the States, and they've got a glorious Ridley Scott classic, Thelma and Louise, coming out on the 30th of May. Obviously, we don't get it.
Yeah, obviously.
What they're also releasing over there is an Arrow favorite, Seijun Suzuki's Branded to Kill, which is absolutely brilliant. That's getting a 4K release over in the States on the 9th of May. Sticking in the States, Scream Factory finally let slip the details around their upcoming Exorcist 3 4K.
Insta-buy.
And as sadly expected, it's only the theatrical cut that's getting 4K. Obviously, the Legion cut was kind of an assembly cut, and it had VHS quality inserts and stuff like that. And so that's in there, but only in 1080p.
But that's better than Arrow's assembly of the Legion cut, isn't it? It's a nicer cleanup of it, right?
I don't know. I haven't read too much into the details of what the differences are, but if it is, then...
I tentatively want to say that Arrow's Legion, the Legion cut of Exorcist 3 on their set. I'm being told to shut the heck up because I'm usually wrong about these things. But I think it's only 7. I think it's only 7. I don't think it's 1080. I think it's only 720.
Okay. More homework needed there, right?
Yeah.
But also on the same day in the States, that's 28th of March, Shout Factory also releasing Dead Silence on 4K, James Wan's brilliantly naff killer ventriloquist dummy flick, which is just awesome. It is awesome, Tom. Just
okay.
Really necky. Really,
I'm not.
It's pretty good getting a 4K release.
Yeah,
I'm not a James Wan guy.
we know. But what you are though is a Jean-Pierre Jeunet kind of guy.
For sure.
There we go. And finally, the City of Lost Children, a jewel in Sony Classics 30th anniversary box set over in the States, is getting a standalone UK 4K release.
Oh, lovely.
All of those people in the thread who said, how have I not seen this film? I want to see this film. You now can. Unfortunately, there's no release date, but it's up for pre-order from all the usual places. Nice. And finally, Warner Brothers are starting to split their uber massive 100 years celebratory box set because they've announced some individual releases of some of those films, the likes of The Maltese Falcon, Cool Hand Luke, and Rebel Without a Cause, all in April. So yeah, some good stuff coming.
Yeah. Nice
where's The Exorcist, Warner Brothers? I'm not paying £300 to see The Exorcist in 4K. All right,
I guarantee it will be released in October.
I'm pretty sure you can get it for $299.99. Tell us about you got 15 seconds to tell us about Picard. Well, let's be honest. After the last podcast, we were somewhat castigated for our lack of enthusiasm. I think we even no one wanted to review it. I was like, "Who's watching Picard?" And no one wanted to review it.
With good reason.
I gave in, and on Friday morning, in 53 moments of madness, I sat down and watched Picard, and I had an absolute blast with it. It blew away the dour, dull, messagey, preachy tone of season 2. And what we got was, I think, Tom, you put it best. It's a next generation adventure wrapped up in some great OG Trek clothes that just felt very much like what Trek used to be.
It's got the vibe of the middle trilogy of Trek movies. So Wrath of Khan to
Voyage Home.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
It's got the costumes from it for one, but just the
music.
And the music and the space dock.
Yes.
It's fine.
Let's be honest. As a good first episode, it did what it needed to do, which was course correct. It needed to bring back all those Trek fans who it lost with season 2. And I know season 2 has, its fans out there, but season 2 is terrible.
Season 1 was terrible.
So far, it's put Rios in the bin, and it's put Alison Pill Girardi in the bin, and it's put Elnor in the bin. So far, so good.
But it's all right because fan favorite Raffi's in there.
And she gets taken, spoilers, by an evil spaceship from Babylon 5. That's Crusher.
I love that just turning to the side and going spoilers just covers it out. It's like
sorry.
It's probably in the trailer, isn't it?
Exactly the same as putting it in brackets and blanking it out so you have to physically click on it to see the words. Yeah.
Don't listen to this bit, but this is what happens.
So interestingly enough, then, Tom, you have seen it, and I believe your exact quote was, "It's not as bad as I feared."
No, he thought it was better than Nemesis,
which, as we all know, with Tom, is the highest of praise.
Okay, on par with Nemesis.
I think the important thing to remember is that the first episode of the first season of Picard and the first episode of the second season of Picard
were all great.
Also made big promises and then just slowly pissed them away over like 10 episodes, whatever it was. So I'm not holding out. But yeah, it was not awful.
So more intriguingly, Simon, have you seen it?
I have, yes.
Now this is a turn up for the books.
I know, because I was done with Star Trek, absolutely done with it, because it was a total waste of time. It was awful, absolutely awful.
Apart from Strange New Worlds.
Well, even that was okay. It was a glimmer of light in the darkness. But your review, Costello, bloody review got me thinking, well, maybe I'll give it a go. And I found myself going, this isn't terrible. I could actually quite enjoy this. The characters were, a growth from where they were when we left them in 1994, whenever it was when the series ended. So, yeah, if you ignore all that middle crap that they had, everything from the end of the next gen to now, if you ignore all that, then you've got something. Oh yeah, okay, this could be
so.
Be right.
Supposedly they've ejected Kiva Goldsman, not really ejected, but Kiva Goldsman and Alex Kurtzman are not heavily involved with this, and they've got a brand new showrunner.
Good.
Which
it looks like
maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the thing.
Like it's made with love and homage to Trek of old. Even though it's still a bit dark, they could turn the bulbs up a little bit, couldn't they? Really, don't you think? I mean, is electricity that expensive in the future that they can't turn the light up?
Well, if it's anywhere going from now, Simon, yes.
I cannot believe that we got through the whole Trek review without talking about pump action phases. So, Carnival Row, for those who have watched it, it disappeared. It was 2019, I think. It got renewed straight away, and then they went into production. COVID struck, got delayed. Orlando Bloom had a kid, took him a year out of production, and it's come back. And now they've gone, second season, and that's it. It's done. I have no idea whether it'll turn out to have a complete arc, because it's still world building as if it was 2019. And I like it. I have a bit of time for that kind of.
I seem to remember liking the first season, but I can't remember a thing about it now.
No, it's just too long for a show like this, which doesn't necessarily really sink its teeth into you, to disappear and then come back. Especially when fans of it would have heard it was going to get a second season straight away. Anyway, I enjoy it. It's back, and I hope it ends nicely. That's Carnival Row. Tom's going to tell us really quickly about Lockwood.
Oh, I will do, but before I do, just
Last of Us. No. Since we were told to watch it last week or whenever it was.
I mean, we can, but no.
It's good. Moving on.
But is it? Is it?
Yes.
It's very well acted.
Yeah,
it's got a very well set design. It's got a good premise, but it's a bit okay.
No, it's got a good character writing as well.
Yeah. There's everything good about it, but
there's everything good about it, but I'm not bothered.
But it's
nothing new.
Is it the genre that's killing us, though? I mean, sorry to listeners. We've decided to talk about Last of Us rather than Lockwood. They both begin with L. But Last of Us, is it the zombie genre that's done? Not Last of Us that's done, but for some people, understandably, after 156 seasons of Walking Dead, I mean, I'm on like season 9, I think, and I feel like I've been watching it for 40 years.
I gave up
years
ago on that.
Yeah, exactly. So after a lot of Walking Dead, there isn't much new that could possibly be done after 100 hours.
Yeah, but we're at the stage now where it feels kind of like the same criticism going, "Oh, war movie. Haven't we seen war movies before?" It's like,
but that's a fair point. I mean, we talked about that off air.
It's just a genre now. It's just its own genre, and it is possible to do a really good, well-written, interesting take within that genre. And I think that's what Last of Us is.
No, I told you, Sam, did you ever play the games?
No, I'm watching it purely as a TV show.
So do you know what? I never played the games, and like you, I've come to it, and it's very good. But we're coming at it on the back of this unanimous wave of critical praise. And I think that is what is stifling it a little bit, because every episode you watch and go, well, this isn't the greatest thing ever. It's good. It's not the greatest thing ever.
It's very good.
So,
Black
yes,
Summer.
yes, Stuart. The first season of Black Summer was freaking awesome. The second season wasn't, but the first one was. So yes, I agree with our glorious.
So I am looking for. I've seen the first 5 episodes of Last of Us, and I am looking forward to seeing the rest of it, because it's got good characters. You feel for them. It spends entire episodes building these characters up, and it just seems to take a long time to go anywhere. You know, that third episode with Ottoman in it, well, that was fabulous. What a fabulous piece of television. Not Ottoman, what's his name? Nick
Offerman. Nick Offerman.
Offerman, that's it. What a fabulous piece of television that was. Just, I mean, to take a whole episode out of that linear story that they're trying to tell, just to tell of 2 minor characters that I'm told were in the game. Whatever.
And to like have the courage to do that after a couple of episodes.
Absolutely.
To be
Absolutely.
like, forget our main characters for a second. Here's an important story to tell. And
yeah,
it was
from
so
one
good.
line, we're going to see Bill and Frank. Who are Bill and Frank? And then you take an entire episode to explore these characters. And how fabulous was it? And what an ending to it. I mean, it's great stuff. But, you know, can it sustain that energy? You know, like I say, it doesn't. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the next one. Put it that way.
So Simon, I'm sorry, I've got to ask.
Go on.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's over.
Cinema. No, I need to know.
Oh, no, we'll never know.
No.
Stay tuned to next week.
Go on. What is the future cinema?
We're not here next week, son.
Stay tuned for 2 weeks. Leave them hanging. I have seen the future of cinema.
Oh my God, we are actually going to leave them hanging. Okay, Lockwood, watch it on us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Oh wow, two yeses.
Yeah,
it's so much fun. It's so much fun. It is it's adapted from a YA series of novels, which I only found out after I started watching the show, but it makes perfect sense. It is teenagers who are Ghostbusters. The end is great.
Cool. It's on Netflix.
You watch the trailer for it, and it looks exactly as Tom said it.
Oh no! Wait! That makes me think that people will think it's like Afterlife. It's not like Afterlife. It's good.
It's not as good as Afterlife. Well, but what it is, it's actually got some really big, complex world building going on, and it's really interesting where the story goes. And plus, Nigel Planer's in it, which, let's be honest, is a win for everyone. So I recommend it.
Yeah, it's the thing that I said way back when, earlier in the podcast. It's sincere, as Cass says, it's unpretentious, and it's without a drop of cynicism. It feels, I don't want to sound like England, but like it's very British, do you know? And it's really nice in that way.
Good.
Show run by Joe Cornish, who off of Adam and Joe, but also Attack the Block and The Kid Who Would Be King, and it's got a kind of a similar vibe to The Kid Who Would Be King.
It feels very much like Kid Who Would Be King. So
yeah.
Good.
2 thumbs up. Thumbs up for Hello Tomorrow, Mark.
Possibly. It's got a lot of potential, but it doesn't know. You don't know quite where it's going. What is the series going to be? And that's a little bit off-putting, but a very interesting first episode.
Okay, so we want a review of that, and then in 2 weeks' time,
you've had a review of it.
Give us an update. I don't had a review.
You have.
I don't. Okay, I've had a review.
Honestly.
Yeah, I've had a review. I obviously read them. And
you know what?
Them, don't I?
It explains so much.
It does explain so much. So
it's on early access. So subscribe to our Patreon.
Is it even on early access? I better go and check. Well, anyway. So I watched Infinity Pool, which I wasn't going to talk about till next week, but it's in the description. I'm going to say Brandon Cronenberg is the only Cronenberg to be watching right now, unless you go in full retro.
Wrong. Crimes of the Future is great.
Yes, it is good. Yes, I'll give that one. Yeah, I'll give you that one. Other than that,
thanks.
It feels like Crimes of the Future still could do with learning a lesson from.
And I'm a big fan of Denise Cronenberg, so have at it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
all the Cronenbergs are good.
Yeah.
The guy behind
Not a fan of the
Possessor
lager.
has done Infinity Pool, which
Quite
is
like the
why
lager, actually.
there's
Simon.
an Infinity Pool, and he's it's great and it's mental and it is very
Go on, Kaz. Hold it together, mate.
very disconcerting.
Everyone's still
When's it
listening.
out?
I don't know, in March sometime. I'll review it properly
Useless.
when we're closer to the time. I haven't done anything. It wasn't even supposed to be in this month. We're just mentioning it because accidentally I wrote the words Infinity Pool and stuck a picture of Infinity Pool behind me. Now everyone's got a weight of expectations on my shoulders.
Mhm.
Coming soon, Infinity Pool. Tom's going to be doing Cocaine Bear.
Oh man, is that going to be a movie that doesn't live up to its title?
If Tom doesn't give that an 8, we riot AV4.
Man, it's going to be Snakes on a Plane version 2. It's going to be just like it's just a meme. A meme is not fun for 2 hours. Like
the marketing for it looks great. Anyway, that'll be interesting. Mark will be watching. There's another Scream movie so soon, but Mark will be screaming. I'm gonna give Liam Neeson's latest a really ill-advised adaptation of a Raymond Chandler, Philip Marlowe story with Neeson as Marlowe, called Marlowe. I'm gonna definitely give it a 5 or 4. I'm just telling you right now, just to get it out of the way. It's coming in with that score. If that changes, someone has paid me off. It's been bought by Sky, so it's not going to get higher than a 5. They only buy things that can only get 5s. They score out of 5.
It's a great strategy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's bad news that it's been bought by Sky, and anyway. So I'll be doing that because that's how I roll. And Sai's checking out the Rocky movies in 4K finally.
And the future of cinema will be discussed on the next podcast.
Oh my god, we're just going to do this every time, aren't we?
I swear to God, it better be good. It's gonna
holograms.
It's gonna be whatever that Jeremy Clarkson's Farm Manager version 32, whatever it's called.
Jeremy Clarkson's Farm Sim 23.
It's Farming Simulator 23. That's it.
I'm going to go download that now. That sounds good.
Do let us know if there's anything we've not covered that you think we should check out. That is it. That's it for the AV Forums Movies podcast. My thanks to Movies team. Simon.
Thanks very much. Good night.
Mark.
Evening all.
And Modop.
That's me. You're welcome.
If you enjoyed the podcast, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel, plus hit the notification bell so you don't miss out when we publish our live streams, product reviews, and more. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and bookmark avforums.com for the latest news, reviews, and videos. Plus, why not leave us a 5-star rating on whatever service you use, if they allow it, but only if you enjoy the show. I'm Kaz Harlow. Thank you for watching and listening and all of that stuff. Join us for the next podcast on the 6th of March. Bye.